This video will review the point-slope form for linear equations. The point-slope form of a linear equation is written in the form y minus y1 equals m quantity x minus x1, where m is the slope of the line and x1, y1 is any point on the line. For example, if I give you the equation y minus 6 equals 3 quantity x minus 2, we can identify the slope and the point that this line passes through. To do this, we start by looking for the number in front of the parentheses. In this case, it's 3. The 3 quantity x minus 2 tells me that the slope of this line, in this form, is 3. In the parentheses, I see x minus 2. This tells me that the x1 value, or the x value of the point, is 2. Looking at the y minus 6, I see that the y value is 6. This tells me that the point that this line passes through is the point 2, 6. Here's a few more examples. If you're doing these at home, pause, and then restart it when you're ready. I'll give you a minute. In problem 1, we have y minus 3 equals 7 quantity x plus 4. Looking at this, I can see that the slope will be 7. In the parentheses, I see x plus 4. The only way that can become plus 4 is if the x1 was already a negative. A negative 4 would turn into positive 4. Therefore, I know that the point is going to be negative 4, 3. In problem 2, we have y plus 2 equals half quantity x minus 6. The slope of the line is 1/2. X minus 6 tells me that x1 is 6. The y plus 2 tells me that the y1 has to be negative 2. The negative 2 makes it a y plus 2. Therefore, this coordinate would be 6, negative 2. The last example looks a little different because there's no number in front of the parentheses. I have a minus sign. Having a minus sign is the same as basically a negative 1. This tells me that the slope of this line would be negative 1. The coordinate would be 5, 2. I know they're both positives because we have x minus 5 and y minus 2. Now, if we're told some other information, for instance, we're told the slope and the point that the line passes through, we can construct a line equation based on the form y minus y1 equals m quantity x minus x1, or point-slope form. To do this, we're going to substitute in our values. We see that m is 4, x1 is 2, and y1 is negative 7. Substituting this in, I would say it's y minus, the y1 is negative 7, equals, the slope is 4, quantity x minus 2. Now, I'm not going to leave it like this. The y minus a negative 7 should be rewritten. That becomes y plus 7 equals 4 quantity x minus 2. Here's 2 more examples. Again, try them at home, pause the video if necessary, and restart when you're ready. In problem 1, we see that the slope is 5 and that the point is negative 7, negative 1. If we substitute these values into our point-slope formula, we will get y minus a negative 1 equals the 5 quantity x minus a negative 7. Simplifying the equation a bit, we would get that y minus negative 1 becomes y plus 1 equals 5 and then quantity x plus 7. For the next problem, we see that the slope is negative 3 and it passes through the point 4, 3. Substituting this in, we would get y minus 3 equals, the slope is negative 3, quantity x minus 4. In this case, there's nothing to simplify. That is the form for point-slope form there. Now, if we're going to use point-slope form for graphing, we're going to follow the same steps that we would do for slope-intercept form with one exception. Instead of having a y-intercept, we'll have just any random point on the line. It doesn't have to be 0, comma. So the steps would follow like this. First, we'd want to go through and identify the slope and the given point. We then plot the given point, and then use the slope to move to find a second and third point on the line. Once we have those points, we can then use a ruler to draw the line. So again, using point-slope form, we find the slope and the given point. We plot the point that we actually know, and use the slope to find a few other points. We then use a ruler to draw the line. Here's an example. Given the equation y minus 1 equals half quantity x plus 4, we're going to start by identifying the slope and the given point. I see that it's half quantity x plus 4, which tells me that the slope is 1/2. In the parentheses, we have x plus 4, which tells me that the x1 has to be negative 4. The point that this line passes through is negative 4, 1. This graph already has a label and scale. Most of the time in this class, the graphs will not have the label and scale. You'll have to do this, so make sure you put your x, y in numbers. We start by plotting the point negative 4, 1. Negative 4, 1 would be 4 units to the left and 1 unit above the origin, right here. The slope is 1/2. This means it will rise 1 and go 2 to the right. And then again, rise 1, 2 to the right. Once we have a few of these points, we can draw the line. Make sure next to the line you also write the equation. In this case, y minus 1 equals half quantity x plus 4. If you're at home, go ahead and try example 2 on your own now. Pause the video and restart when you're ready to check your answer. For this equation, I can see that the slope is negative 3. The point that this line passes through is going to be 4, negative 2. I know that it's negative 2 because it says y plus 2. The only way that could happen is if it was already negative. It's y minus a negative 2. Make sure you have a label and scale on your graph and plot the given point. 4, negative 2 would be 4 units to the right of the origin and down 2. From here, we're going to go with the slope of negative 3. That means we fall 3 points and go 1 to the right. Now, I don't have enough points to continue doing this, so I can do the opposite of that. I can go up 3 and 1 to the left. I have enough points to see what the line looks like, so now I can draw it. What else do I need to do? Think for a moment. Don't forget to write the equation next to it. I hope this video helps you to understand point-slope formula.